Welcome to the MBS Live On-Demand Marketing Center. In the past, we've had a weekly newsletter system and a marketing newsletter system that our users had complimentary access to, but it required you to go to a different page. Now the marketing content is integrated into MBS Live, and it is extremely fast and easy to use, in addition to being totally awesome and very powerful. So this video will show you just how easy and awesome and powerful it is and walk you through the basic setup steps that will get you on your way to using it. First things first, from the MBS Live dashboard, to access the full marketing suite, all you need to do is click the marketing link at the top of the page. This will take you through to a page that looks like this. There should be a blue box at the top, which will walk you through the setup steps. But if for whatever reason you're not seeing it, you can also access those setup steps on the left-hand menu under Marketing Settings. Let's click Edit My Profile to get started. This will bring up your marketing profile that you can edit. We have a bunch of information in there already, but do make note there is a section for 2 NMLS numbers for you and your company, or if you are in certain states that have additional licensing requirements, there's space to enter those in. You can also enter all of your social media addresses as well as your company website and 2 other websites if that suits your purpose. On the right-hand side, you can see a place to enter and edit your profile picture. If you click Edit there, it will take you through to a screen that looks like this. On this screen, you can upload an image for the MBS Live dashboard on the left. And that can be different from your marketing profile photo because some people want to use different pictures for the dashboard versus their marketing material. The right-hand side is for your company logo. And if you want to see what that looks like in practice from the previous page, you can click View a Live Example. That will open a live example. You can see what the profile photo will look like at the top right. And then here's where your corporate logo would appear, and all of the other profile information you entered would appear in between. Because the photo entry screen opens in a new tab, you can simply close that completely to go back to the marketing profile tab. Once you're sure that is dialed in, click Update Profile at the bottom of the page and you're in business. And you'll see a confirmation about your profile being updated at the top of the page. Once you see that, you can click the back button or click marketing again at the top to go back to the marketing section. Now, there are other marketing settings that you can update. We'll cover those later in the video, but in case you're curious, now that I mentioned that, they involve setting up other business partners to be co-branding partners on your marketing material, and they also allow you to enter custom messages that will appear at the top or bottom of certain marketing pieces. Last but not least, there is an activity report that will give you an idea of how many times your pieces have been viewed on which platforms. For now, let's go back to the main marketing page and we will send out some marketing. Absolutely all of the marketing content that's available to send out here can be distributed via social media, email, PDF, print, and simple web links. Some of that will cross over depending on how you use it yourself. For instance, you might want to send out an email with a link to a web page, or you may want to create a PDF that you email to yourself, which is subsequently used in your own email marketing system or your company's email marketing system. You'll see the option to choose one of those formats when we move on to actually create the marketing piece. And in order to do that, we need to choose a category from one of the following. These categories are available right here in the form of these tiles or thumbnails, and they're also all available on the left-hand navigation menu. Let's start by clicking the Housing News category. Once you're in the Housing News section, each of these tiles will represent a different story that you can send out. If you want to see the contents of that story and to see what the marketing piece will look like, click one of the preview options at the bottom right of the tile. I would recommend using the email preview option because it will just pop up right in the same page and it will look substantially similar to a web or PDF version, which opens in a new window. The social version is pretty much just going to pop up the same tile you're already looking at, but it will include a link to the web version, which will take you through to the same page you would see by clicking web right here. Bottom line here is that the email option will give you basically a full view of any other format, and it will give it to you more quickly, so it's a great way to preview the marketing content. Now we're ready to share. We can click the share button. That will bring up a window that looks like this. And at this point, I'd like to take a quick break so we can go back to the MBS Live dashboard so you can see the other way that you could arrive at that window. Click on Dashboard at the top of the page. This takes us to the MBS Live dashboard, and looking at the live news stream, we will often see buttons that say Share, like this one. If I click the Share button here, this window should look very familiar. So this is the first big aha moment for those of you that are into using our marketing content or want to be, but who also use MBS Live and would prefer just to send it out as quickly as possible. As you're watching MBS Live during the day, you see a story you like, you click the share button, and here you are in the screen that has you sending out the marketing content literally seconds later. In fact, if you're quick, you could probably get it under 1 second, because really, if you wanted to tweet this out, all you'd have to do is click Twitter. There's a pre-populated message in there ready to go. You could edit it if you like, but if you're in a hurry, just go ahead and click tweet. And moments later, magical things will happen to your Twitter homepage that look like this. Once this tweet pops up, clicking on it, clicking on the tile, will take you through to a web version of whatever you just tweeted out. Then you can simply close the marketing dialog and you are back to business watching the dashboard or doing whatever you were doing before. Now, of course, if you sent this out from the marketing page, it would work exactly the same way. But let's do a different example now with the same content. Clicking the share button brings up this pop-up that you are familiar with. If you want to send it out via email, print, or web, you could select that at the top. All of those options are very self-explanatory. If you email it out, you would enter an email address. It also gives you an opportunity to download the PDF. That's just going to bring up the PDF in a new window, and you could copy the link, or depending on your web browser's built-in PDF reader, you could click the save button to save it to your desktop and then use it as you see fit. The print/download option is largely the same. In fact, for many web browser configurations, clicking download PDF is going to take you to the exact same page as copying and pasting one of these URLs. That's because chances are your PDF reader in your web browser will just open as soon as you click download here. Let's try that out. And here comes the page. That's what that page looks like. Going back to the marketing pop-up window, let's go ahead and copy this link now, and we'll open a new tab and paste it in. As you can see, it's the exact same page that we just opened up. Speaking of pages that are exactly the same, you can also use the shorten URL button, and that will give you a shorter version of a link that will take you through to the same page yet again. If you want a true web-based version of the page, you'd want to go to the web button at the top right. At first glance, depending on your monitor or window size, this will look very similar to the PDF, but the key difference is that whereas a PDF operates like a picture that needs to be enlarged or shrunk and won't change dynamically as you do that, the web version of the article would change. For instance, if we click on this view on web link, it will bring up the web page version, and you can see what happens to it as I drag the window to a more narrow setting. Things reflow to suit the size of the browser. That can be useful if people are going to be viewing it on smaller format displays like mobile phones and tablets. That said, there are some situations where you want to make sure the visuals and the margins are all locked into place. So chances are you have a preference between PDF or dynamic web pages. And the bottom line here is that we just want to provide you the flexibility to send out your marketing according to those preferences. With that all covered, let's send out another post. This time, let's use Facebook, and let's go ahead and choose a new category so I can show you another piece of functionality you might like. Instead of selecting housing news as the category, this time we are going to select daily mortgage rate update. When we click the share button on one of these tiles, the sharing options will look almost exactly the same, but you will now have the ability to choose a background image, your own tile, and you can choose between a data tile, which will have actual mortgage rates and a chart of recent rate movement on it, or you can simply choose an image that will be, well, an image. So pick one you like. Bottom line, you're getting to decide how the thing looks that you are about to post to your social media account. If we want to use the data card and post that to Facebook, we would simply click the Facebook button. Feel free to enter in whatever you normally enter in when you post to Facebook, a custom message, select which friends you want it to go to or which friend categories you want it to go to, and click post to Facebook. Moving over to the demo Facebook account, the results are pretty self-explanatory. At this point in the video, you have a very solid idea of how easy it is and how fast it is to use these marketing tools to send out things on the web, social media, generate links, PDFs, and emails. There are several additional tools that are very cool and very powerful that we're going to talk about next. So if you want to pause the video here and come back to it so that you can get your marketing profile set up and play around with sending stuff out via email or social media, feel free. The rest of the stuff is a little bit more in-depth, but it's just as easy to use. To kick off that tour, let's talk about the new market summary on the MBS Live dashboard. If you've been an MBS Live member in the past, you're likely familiar with the huddle. The market summary is just the new living, breathing version of the huddle that is updated in real time throughout the day. Here's what it looks like on the MBS Live dashboard, and it can also be used in the marketing system. You might have already guessed that based on the build and share button at the top of the market summary. Let's go ahead and click that. Incidentally, if you were in the marketing menu and were in the market summary tab on the left, or if you'd click the market summary tile here, it would take you to the exact same place. As you know, or as you are about to learn, there are different sections of the market summary. Maybe you like some of them more than others. Maybe you don't want to include some of them when you share this piece as marketing. That is totally fine. My feelings aren't hurt by that. Go ahead and disable the components you don't wish to share, and feel free to reorder the components so that your favorite stuff is at the top, or just reorder them in a way that you think looks better. You can also choose your own image for this marketing piece as well. Once you do that, you'll see the rest of the share process is exactly the same as everything else we just covered. The only significant difference is that when you choose a background image, any of those images are going to play host to the text that appears at the top of the market summary. What I mean by that, if we go back and look at the market summary on the dashboard, you can see they always have a few introductory sentences to lay everything out at the top, and those sentences will appear on the background image that you choose. Clicking the share button, and from this point on, everything is exactly the same as it was when we walked through the previous sharing options. So there you go. MBS Live Huddle is now the market summary, and you can edit it and send it out as marketing material to your business partners and or clients. Pretty awesome stuff. What else can we share directly from the dashboard that wasn't even available in the marketing system before? One new addition here is the economic calendar. Sometimes you just want to give people a heads up on what's coming down the pike, and you can do that by clicking the share button right on the econ calendar. You will be able to select today's or this week's or next week's economic calendar, and clicking the share button takes you through to options that you are by now very familiar with. Speaking of options that you are familiar with, how about that weekly newsletter that a lot of you have been sending out in the market newsletter system? You can now find the weekly marketing newsletter right here on the left-hand menu. It will also appear on the tile menu when you first enter the marketing center. Clicking on that option in either location will bring up a page that has tiles that represent all of the recent weekly newsletters. And from this point, the sharing options are exactly the same as everything else we've covered. But there is one key difference to be aware of if you're not already familiar with the weekly newsletter and if you haven't already been sending it out on an automated basis. If you'd like to have that go out automatically, there are links at the top of the marketing section that will walk you through the steps required to do that. And there is also a permanent link on the menu on the left under bonus tools. Click automated newsletter, and you will be guided through the rest of the steps to get that set up on an automated basis. If you do set it up on an automated basis, you'll only need to come back to this page of various newsletters if you want to send one of them out on demand, or if you want to send a previous newsletter that happened to have a helpful concept in it to a client or a business partner that you feel would benefit from it. Chances are you're not going to be sending this to all your email subscribers if you're sending a newsletter from several weeks in the past, as that information would no longer be timely, probably. In other words, the highest and best use of this weekly newsletter section is for those who want to send out the newsletter on demand at a time of their choosing and in a format of their choosing, as opposed to having it go out on an automated basis every week whenever we send it out, which is typically Friday afternoons. If we head back to the main marketing page, you can see that there are a few tiles here that we haven't covered yet. So let's cover them now because they're pretty awesome. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that you could set up business partners as co-branding partners that will appear on your marketing pieces, and that you could also enter a custom message. So let's take a quick stop back by the profile editing section and click on co-brand partners. Now I already have a couple entered in here, but it's as simple as clicking add a co-brand partner and filling out the form there. The marketing message is very similar. I have one uploaded already, but you could enter different marketing messages for different groups of clients or business partners, or even different marketing pieces that you want to send out. For instance, if you're sending out something that is interest rate specific, you might have an interest rate message that you want to have at the top of every one of those marketing pieces that you need to have pre-canned and ready to go. If you have one that explains stuff about how to read an economic calendar, you might want to create a custom message for sending out the economic calendar. You get the idea. The point is, you can set up the messages you want. I'm about to show you how they work in practice, and here's where you would go to create those messages for yourself. Once those are created, we go back to the marketing menu, and we will educate a consumer on how interest rates work with our library and educational series. This is stuff that I have personally written to try to really break things down to a 101 level on what a mortgage is, what mortgage rates are, how everything works. You can send out the whole series piece by piece, but if you end up sharing the first article in the series, it will have links to the remaining articles in the series. What a great opportunity to put a custom message at the top that says, hey, here is a piece on how to understand mortgage rates, and be sure to click the links at the bottom to move through the entire series. Assuming you want to subject your clients to that much unadulterated learning, choice is really yours. But As you know, some clients really want that depth of education, and if you want to give it to them without having to expend any additional effort, there you go. Now we are very close to wrapping up the tour of our new marketing tools because, as you can see, we are running out of new tiles to talk about. Before I get to the last section, and maybe the coolest section as far as some of you are concerned, just really briefly touch on the fact that we have widgets, which are essentially very simple calculators that you can install right on your own web page. These will give your clients a few simple calculations to play around with, but there is a link that will take them through to your more detailed marketing page, and I'll show you what I mean by using the mortgage calculator widget as an example. For instance, your clients could play with these 3 pieces of input and determine a monthly payment. But if they click on View Charts and Amortization or more advanced calculators, it is going to take them through to your calculator page, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But the point being on the widgets is that we're giving you a tool that's easy to install and customize that you can put right on your own site. You can co-brand with your realtor partners or other business partners. And we're providing a link that will take your clients through to a more detailed version of your marketing page, no matter which marketing channel you are using the widget for. But let's stick with our original example and say you're using that mortgage calculator widget. And I've just told you that we're going to get your clients through to your more detailed calculator page. So with that, let's talk about what is up with one of the most exciting new sections in the new marketing content, which is the calculator section. Let's just go back to the main marketing page so you know exactly where to find it. You can either click on the calculator tile here, or in the left-hand menu, simply click Mortgage Calculators, and you will come to a page that looks like this. There are several that are in place already, and we will build more depending on the feedback on these and what you guys ask for. So don't be shy in sending that feedback in, and you can see there is a link to do that right at the bottom of the calculator page. Clicking on the Edit Default Loan Scenario button will allow you to change the parameters of the calculator. Click the Save button after you've made your changes, and then click the Share button just like you'd share any other marketing. Let's go ahead and practice using our demo realtor partners, and we'll enter a demo partner in there and a demo message, and we will share this just on the regular old internet. Viewing this on the web, we can see it's more than just a standalone marketing piece that comes out that your client can just read. They can actually interact with it if you want them to. If you don't want them to, send them a PDF. But if you send it to them on the web, they'll be able to mess around with that stuff. We've also provided them with links to print this out and to ask a question about the loan scenario. And how cool is this? They can enter their name, email address, phone number, and asking a question, we'll email it to the email address that you have on file with MBS Live. Needless to say, the new calculator system is pretty robust, and as you can imagine, we can add quite a bit of functionality to this. So we'll be covering calculators in greater detail in a future video, but that will definitely give you an idea of how everything's going to work with that for now, and hopefully get you excited to start using this stuff and sending in your feedback so we can build you even more marketing tools in the future. That will do it for this video. Remember, if you need to ask us a question about anything that you've learned here or anything on the site at all, you can check the knowledge base on the left-hand menu of MBS Live and enter in search terms in the search menu on the left-hand menu of MBS Live. Chances are we have an article that covers your question. Or if you don't see the answer readily available, you can contact us by clicking on Contact Us in, you guessed it, the left-hand menu. By the way, help and support topics are also at the top of the screen underneath the question mark circle on the MBS Live dashboard.